So in this question, the diagram shows an isosceles trapezium PQRS with an area 8 centimeter square. Isosceles trapezium is a trapezium in which the two lengths are going to be this length PS and this length QR are equal. So that's why it's a isosceles trapezium. And this and angle SPQ and RQP must be same because it's an isosceles trapezium. And and it's given that it's theta radians. SR is given to us as 16. We need to show that the area of the trapezium comes out to be 160 sine theta plus 100 sine theta cos theta. So to begin with this part, what you should do is you should apply the formula for the area of a trapezium. Do you remember what is area of a trapezium equal to? Half times sum of parallel sides times height. Now, if we talk about the parallel sides, SR and PQ are the parallel sides. I do know the length of SR, but I do not know the length of PQ. So if I drop a perpendicular line over here, I know it's gonna break the trapezium into a rectangle and two right angle triangles. This length still going to be 16 centimeter. But what about this length? This length can be found using trigonometry. It's going to be 10 cos theta. So cos theta is going to be equal to this length upon hypotenuse, that is 10. If you cross multiply the value of this length, this part is going to be 10 cos theta. Now, since it was an isosceles trapezium, the value of this length from here to here is also going to be 10 cos theta. So if I find the entire length of PQ, that is going to be 10 cos theta plus 16 plus 10 cos theta. Hence, it is going to be 20 cos theta, okay, plus 16. That's the length of PQ. Plus the other parallel length is SR, which is also 16. Multiply by the height of the trapezium. Now, height of the trapezium is going to be found by using sine theta as a ratio. Sine theta is going to be equal to the perpendicular or the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So this perpendicular length is going to be 10 sine theta. So I can replace the height by 10 sine theta. Now all you need to do is you need to simplify this. So 1 upon 2, 20 cos theta plus 32 times 10 sine theta. You can further simplify this. 20 cos theta times 5 sine theta is 100 sine theta cos theta. 32 times 5 is 60, and it's going to be 60 sine theta. So if you rearrange this, you're going to get 60 sine theta plus 100 sine theta cos theta. That is the area that you were asked to show.
Sir, in
Let
the
me know if
question
you.
they asked 60 sine theta.
What are you saying?
Sir, in the question it's 160 sine theta. We are getting 60 sine theta.
Yeah, 32 times 5 is 160. Sorry. ठीक है?
Okay.
So why not any difficulty in part 1?
No.
Okay. Now in the second part, find the value of theta for which A has a stationary value. So if you want to find the value of theta for which A has a stationary value, then we are going to differentiate this first. Okay. So I want everyone to find dA over d theta. So we are going to differentiate area expression to find dA by d theta. derivative of area with respect to the angle. So what is the derivative of 160 sine theta? Differentiation of sine theta is cos theta. So the derivative is just going to be 160 cos theta. Now, to find the derivative of this term, please understand that it's a product of 100 sine theta times cos theta. So you will have to apply the product rule. To apply the product rule, you take some 100 sine theta as u and cos theta is v. So uv prime, v prime
Sir,
differentiation of cos theta. Yes.
sir, wasn't differentiation of sine theta minus cos theta?
No, differentiation of sine theta was cos theta. Integration of sine theta is minus cos theta. All right.
Okay.
So you are going to apply the product rule over here. uv prime plus v u prime. The differentiation of 100 sine theta is going to be 100 cos theta. You can simplify this expression now. 160 cos theta. This is going to be negative 100 sine square theta plus 100 cos square theta. If you remember the identity, you can, since on the left term over here is in cos theta, it's better to convert everything in cos theta. So I'll have to use the identity to replace sine square theta with cos square theta. How can I replace sine square theta with cos square theta? Anyone? What was the identity?
Sir, but wouldn't there be a one-off?
Sorry,
Cos square?
I'm not able to hear you. Can you repeat that?
Saying when we're replacing it with cos square theta, it's also gonna be like have a one, right?
Cos square theta is also going to be,
So I'm saying the identity you're saying is that one, right? The sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to one, right?
yes.
So we can
So
replace it as minus cos square theta
sine
plus.
so sine square theta can be written as 1 minus cos square theta
Yeah.
plus 100 cos square theta. So 160 cos theta plus minus 100, minus times minus is plus 100 cos square theta plus 100 cos square theta. So I'm getting 200 cos square theta plus 160 cos theta minus 100, that's dA by d theta. Now to find the stationary value of the area, I will have to set dA by d theta expression to 0. So I'm going to set it equal to 0. Now understand this, that you have a disguised quadratic equation with you. What do I mean by disguised quadratic equation? This equation can be converted into a quadratic equation. If you just realize that cos theta can be replaced with some variable, let's say y. So if I let y equals to cos theta, then the equation is going to become 0 equals to 200 y square plus 160y minus 100. Now you can easily solve this quadratic equation either using factorization or it's better to use a quadratic formula over here. Okay, whenever you have big equations or complex equations, it's always better to use quadratic formula. Now use your calculator and give me the two values of y for now. In paper, you are at least going to show the working of the quadratic formula being used. So what is the value of y coming out? What are the two values of y?
getting one of them as 0.4124.
0.4124. And the second value?
Minus 1.21.
1.2124. Okay. So y was actually cos theta. Now, please understand that cos theta can never be below -1. So if you even try to solve this, you are not going to get any solution. Your calculator will not give you any solution from here. Also, please convert your calculator in radian mode to solve this. Now, cos theta is equal to 0.4124. Cos theta ka ratio is positive, so I'm going to decide the quadrant in which the cos theta is positive. It's in the first quadrant and in the last quadrant. If I want to solve this, I will have to first find the basic angle. To find the basic angle, I'm going to take cos inverse of 0.4124. Using your calculator, please give me the answer for this. Cos inverse of 0.4124.
1.14.
1.14. Again?
5.7.
5.7. Okay, that's my basic angle. So to find the angle, one value of theta is 1.1457. The other value is going to be 2 pi minus 1.4147 because it's lying in the fourth quadrant. So one value of theta is 1.1457. The other value of theta is going to be 2 pi minus 1.1457. So what is the answer coming? 2 pi minus 1.1457.
5.1374.
5.137. Okay. But does the question mention any range about theta? No, right? So these are, does the question mention any range?
No.
Theta in our diagram, with respect to our diagram, is an acute angle. Okay. If you try to convert 5.137 into degrees, would you get an acute angle or an obtuse angle? Let's find that out. Obviously, this angle is not even an obtuse, it's a reflex angle because it's lying in the fourth quadrant. So as per your diagram, the only solution is going to be this angle. Getting it? This is a reflex angle, and I won't be taking this into consideration because it's greater than pi over 2. The diagram showed me theta where it was, as per the diagram, it was acute angle. So the only answer I'm going to accept is 1.1457. Now, please remember that your syllabus says that you have to round the answer in radian to 3 significant figures. So that's going to be 1.15. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir,
Now, what does this? Yes.
sir, the question like doesn't specify radians anywhere. How do we know like when we have to convert the calculator to radians instead of degrees?
The question does specify that angle
Oh.
theta is in radian.
Oh, okay.
And secondly, whenever you have differentiation ki question, please understand that you will have to solve them in radians because we use radians for our calculation purpose. Okay, the last part says determine the nature of the stationary value. Now, again, we know that to determine the nature of the stationary value, I'll have to go for the second derivative. Okay. So what was the first derivative coming out? 200 cos square theta plus 160 cos theta minus 100. So part C, the derivative of area was coming out to be 200 cos square theta plus 160 cos theta minus 100. Now to find the second derivative, d square a over d theta. What is 200 cos square theta का differentiation going to be?
200 minus sine square theta.
9. Try considering this as 200 times cos theta, the whole thing square. So the power is going to be multiplied with the coefficient. You are going to get 400. Then you differentiate, you reduce the power of the function by 1. And then you times it by the differentiation of the function. What is the differentiation of cos theta? It's minus sine theta. Is everyone clear with this step?
Okay.
200 cos square theta की differentiation can be looked into as 200 times 2, 400. 400 times cos theta, you reduce the power by 1 times by the differentiation of cos theta, which is minus sine theta. Moving on, 160 cos theta की differentiation is simply going to be 160 times minus sine theta, and 100 की differentiation is 0. So simplifying this, you get minus 400 cos theta sine theta minus 160 sine theta. Now, the stationary value was occurring at theta equals to 1.146. So let's find if the second derivative has a positive answer for this value or a negative answer, because that's going to help us in determining the nature. So if you plug in theta as 1.146 in the second derivative, is the answer coming positive or negative?
That is
Minus.
Yeah.
So the answer is coming to be less than 0. Therefore, you are going to say that the stationary value is maximum. Are we clear on this?
Yes.
Okay. Can I move on,
Yes, sir.
or do you want to copy any of the part?
No, sir. You can move on.
Okay. So I'm going to pause the video over here. You can try this question first, and then I can help you out. So a curve has an equation y equals to a e to the power 2x plus b e to the power of minus 2x. The gradient of the tangent at this point is minus 12. Find the value of a and the value of b. Okay. So we have been given the gradient value at the value of x equals to 0. So to begin with, we'll have to differentiate this first. Differentiation of a e to the power of 2x is simply going to be 2. You see, differentiation of an exponential function is the function itself times the differentiation of the power, that is 2. Differentiation of b e to the power of minus 2x itself times the differentiation of the power, that is going to be minus 2. So your gradient function came out to be 2a e to the power of 2x minus 2b e to the power of minus 2x. Now the gradient is minus 12 when x is 0. So e to the power of 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 2b, e to the power of minus 2 times 0 is also 0. And e to the power of 0 is 1. So we have our equation 2a minus 2b equals to negative 12. This is our first equation. To come up with the second equation, we can just use the coordinate and plug them in back into the original equation. So the original equation was y equals to a e to the power of 2x plus b e to the power of minus 2x. When x is 0, we get a plus b, and the answer is equals to 10. These are the two equations. You can solve them simultaneously and get the value of a. Solve equation 1 and 2 simultaneously. Okay, and you can easily get the value of a and b. Now, I'm waiting for you to tell me the value of a and b. All right, so we get a value of a as 2 and b as 8. So this means that the equation would now become y equals to 2e to the power of 2x plus 8e to the power of negative 2x. Okay, so for the second part, you are being asked to find the coordinates of the turning point on the curve and determine its nature. To find the turning point, we differentiate, we find the derivative and set it equal to 0. So this is going to be 2e to the power of 2x times 2 plus e to the power of negative 2x, 8e to the power of negative 2x times negative 2. So the answer comes out to be 4e to the power of 2x minus 16e to the power of minus 2x. You're going to set dy by dx equals to 0 and solve for x. I can take e to the power of negative 2x and write it as e to the power of 2x in the denominator. If you make the denominators common, you're going to get e to the power of 2x times e to the power of 2x minus 16 upon e to the power of 2x equals to 0. Now, this is going to be 0. When denominator e to the power of 2x is going to be multiplied with 0, it is going to be 0. You're going to end up with 4e to the power of 4x minus 16 equals to 0. Then e to the power of 4x is going to come out as 16 upon 4, that is 4. Okay. Now, if you remember, it's an exponential equation. To solve an exponential equation, you can apply logs on both sides. This 4x being the power can be written as a product on the left hand side. So 4x times ln e equals to ln 4. Ln e is 1. So you're going to get x as 1 upon 4 ln 4. Would you agree with me till here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you were asked to find the coordinate. You have the x coordinate. To find the y coordinate, you can just use the original equation and plug in x as 1 upon 4 ln 4. Simplify this out. So you are going to get ln 4 to the power of, okay, e to the power of ln 4 to the power of half plus 8 e to the power of minus ln 4 to the power of half. Okay, it's better that I write it in this way. I was getting minus e to the power of minus 1 upon 4 ln 4 to e to the power of ln 4 to the power of half is 2. I can take e in the denominator, so the power is going to be positive. This is, please make a correction. This was 1 upon 2, and this is going to be ln to the power of ln 4 to the power of half. That is also ln 2. Now, please remember one rule that e to the power of ln a is nothing but a. So if you have e to the power of ln 2, that the answer is just going to be 2. So you can write e to the power of ln 2 as 2 and e to the power of ln 2 as 2 over here as well. So 4 plus 4, 8. This should be your final answer. So the turning point coordinates are 1 upon 4 ln 4 comma 8. These are the coordinates. Does that make sense?
Sir,
Now, in this question, all the lengths are in centimeters. The volume of a cone of height h and the base radius r is given by 1 over 3 pi r square h. It is known that sine pi upon 12 has this as the exact value, cos pi upon 12 has this as the exact value, and tan pi upon 12 is exactly 2 minus root 3. You have been given a cone shape. It's a 3D shape now, and it represents a water cup. The diagram shows the curve and its cross section. So we have a diagram which shows the cross section. The vertical angle of the cone is pi by 6. So the angle this that is being formed is 5.6 radian. The depth of the water is h. The surface of the water is a circle of radius r. Okay. You need to find an expression for r in terms of h and show that the volume of the water in the cup is given by V is equal to pi times 7 minus 4 root 3 h cube upon 3. So the first thing first, you need to find an expression of r in terms of h. So try to apply trigonometry over here and see if you can make a right angle triangle and divide this into two right angle triangles. Would you agree that this angle, just this angle, is going to be pi upon 12?
Yes.
Because it's getting half. So pi upon 6 divided by 2 is pi upon 12. Now, from the center till this point, it represents the radius of the water surface. So, which means from here to here, it represents the radius of the water surface. Now, I will use a trig ratio to come up with an expression that links r and h together. So, and the length opposite to this angle is given to me, opposite, and what else is given to me? The adjacent side. This is h. So the trig ratio that deals with the opposite and the adjacent is 10. So 10 pi upon 12 is equals to r over h. 10 pi upon 12 has the exact value of 2 minus square root 3 is equal to r upon h. Question is saying express r in terms of h. So I need to make r the subject. So that is going to come out as h times 2 minus root 3. This is the expression of r in terms of h. Is the first step clear?
Yes.
Question has also given you the formula for the volume of the cone. That is 1 over 3 pi r squared h. So I'm going to do the working right now over here. 1 upon 3 pi r square times h. Now r is nothing but r in terms of h is h times 2 minus root 3 and r square. So all you need to do is you need to simplify this further. 1 upon 3 pi times, this is going to be h square times 2 minus root 3 the whole thing square times h. So if you simplify this, you're going to get 1 upon 3 pi h cube 2 minus root 3 square. Now, now let's expand on this and see if we can expand it and simplify it as this. 1 over 3 pi h cube. It's in the form of a minus b the whole thing square. So a square minus 2ab plus b square 1 upon 3 pi h cube. 2 square is 4. Root 3 square is just 3. So making it 7 minus 4 root 3. And this is what we were asked to show. Whichever form they have written, you need to show this. So you are going to write it like this: 7 minus 4 root 3 h cube. Okay. This is the volume expression in terms of height. Any questions so far?
No.
The second part says water is poured into the cup at a rate of 30 centimeter cube per second. Find correct to two decimal places the rate at which the depth of water is increasing when h is 5. So if you remember, this part is related to the rate of change. Water is being poured at a rate of 30 centimeter cube per second. So that is our rate of the volume. We need to find correct to two decimal places the rate of the depth. The depth is represented by h. So we need to find dh by dt. So you can think of a rule. To find dh by dt, you must have dh by dv times dv by dt. We do have dv by dt, but to find dh by dv, I'll have to differentiate this first. So if v is equals to 1 upon 3, okay, also please understand this, that 1 upon 3 pi times 7 minus 4 root 3 is just a constant number, and it is representing as the coefficient of h cube. I will have to differentiate v with respect to h first. Consider this entire number as just a constant number or a coefficient over here. So if you find the derivative of dv by dh, you are just going to multiply this coefficient with the power. So you are going to get 1 upon 3 times 3 is 1. So pi times 7 minus 4 root 3. And you are going to reduce the power of h by 1. That is the derivative of dv by dh. Over here, you need dh by dv. So I'm just going to reciprocate it. Pi times 7 minus 4 root 3 times h square. Okay. Times dv by dt in the question is given to me as 30. The question says find the rate of the depth, rate at which the depth is increasing when the height is 5. All you need to plug in is h as 5. So when you plug in h as 5, you're going to get 25 pi times 7 minus 4 root 3 times 30. Simplify this as much as possible and give me your answer in two decimal places. What are you getting?
Sir,
Yes.
I didn't get how you solved dv over dh. How you calculated that?
dv over dh. Okay. So try to understand this, that 1 upon 3 is just a number, pi is a number, 7 minus 4 root 3 represents a number. So together, if I multiply this out, I'm going to get a single number. Okay. Let's say if I multiply 1 upon 3 pi times 7 minus 4 root 3, I get a, which is just a number, and we have h cube. So according to this, what is going to be the derivative of v with respect to h? what is dv over dh going to be equal to? If a is
3
just a number, what? Yes, 3a8 square, right? So similarly, if this is just a number and multiplying it by 3, so 1 upon 3 times 3 gets cancelled out, it's 1. So I'm just left behind by pi times 7 minus 4 root 3, and the power of 8 is reduced by 1. Is that clear now? Is this clear that dv over dh is this expression?
So, but why not 3? Why did you write it as 1 upon 3?
The volume expression was coming out to be 1 upon 3 pi h cube times 7 minus 4 root 3, right? We
Oh,
had 1 upon 3 right over here. So when we are going to multiply this number with 3, 1 upon 3 times 3 is just going to be 1. Make sense?
yeah.
And
Yes, sir.
then over here in the chain rule, if I want dh over dv, I'm going to reciprocate it and then plug in hs5. So I want you to use your calculator and simplify this. They want the answer in 2 decimal places. Yeah, what value are we getting? G, what's the answer coming?
So can you solve this without the radian mode?
Without the,
Radian mode.
without what? Sorry. Yeah, it's just a, uh, it's just an arithmetic number. Like it can be solved without even in the degree mode as well. These are just number. It does not represent a trig function over here. But it's always advisable when you have differentiation questions like these, your calculator should be in radian mode. Because if we were solving this ratio 10 pi upon 12, if we were solving this trig ratio, our calculator should have been in the radian mode. So after solving this, I'm getting it 5.32. So the units are going to be centimeter per second. I hope you are also getting the same answer now.